Welcome in body, soul, and mind. Welcome to this class. I hope you feel at home in this slow flow class. Find a way to sit comfortably on the mat. Tall spine and close your eyes, and just for a short moment we'll sit here and breathe and say welcome to ourselves and even welcome to God. When you make room and home for inhaling, try to see if you can sit a little bit taller. And as you exhale, you might sink just a millimeter down. And tell God how you are doing today. And sigh it out if you need to. If there's things you need to release and let go. We are going to move into tabletop in just a second. If you need to move your shoulders or wrists or whatever before finding tabletop, that's a good thing to do. Today I'll read Psalm 43 in an easy read version of the Bible and just share some questions and thoughts about this. All right, tabletop. Fold the mat underneath your knee if you like. Make sure knee and hip is stacked above each other. The same goes for wrist and shoulder and elbow. Cat-cow. So exhale as you move your spine up, chin towards your chest. Inhale to do your cow pose. And continue with your breath. Warm up your spine. And you can use the Ujjayi breath, that snoring, exhaling sound on your exhale, if you like. One more cat. And one more cow. I love the name of these poses. Take your hands a little bit further to the front, tuck your toes under, downward facing dog. And walk your feet. Slowly bend one knee, bend the other knee. It's a movement into the calves, hamstrings, thighs. And then walk your feet to the top end of the mat. Fold forward. As we often do, you can sway a little bit from side to side. Noticing if your body is particularly tight in one spot or tired or full of energy maybe. You can take a look at your feet and your toes. Try to spread out your toes. Lift the toes off the mat and spread them out. Move to the back and the front of the foot. Play a little bit with it. And then into mountain pose. And I'll read this somewhat short psalm to you as you're standing in mountain pose. A good way to listen, open up your heart, is actually to do mountain pose, which means take your palms out here, open up your chest, and stand tall. Close your eyes. Defend me, God. Argue my case against those people who don't know you. Protect me from those evil liars. God, you are my place of safety. Why have you turned away? Why must I suffer this sadness that my enemies have brought me? Send your light and your truth to guide me, to lead me to your holy mountain, to your home. I want to go to God's altar, to the God who makes me so very happy. God, my God, I want to play my harp and sing praises to you. Why am I so sad? Why am I so upset? I tell myself, wait for God's help. You will again have a chance to praise Him. Your God, the one who will save you. Is there one particular sentence or word that stands out? Just stay with that for a moment. Now take your right arm above your head and go to your left side for a side stretch. The other arm can do like a circle here or half a circle. And when we move to the other side, you reverse the arms opposite. And then move with your breath and close your eyes when you're ready for it. Inhale as you kind of get into the side, and exhale as you really stretch the side. Don't go too low. Inhale and exhale, and do this in your own rhythm. Navel a little bit in so your core is engaged and working here. Soften your arms, fingers. One last time through to each side. Next time you pass the middle, fold forward. Fingertips reach the floor. Take your right leg and step it back, and you might move just a tiny bit here before moving into warrior one, which means the back foot turning a little bit out to the side. You can always do your high lunge foot where the heel's off the mat as an alternative. Bend the front knee, stag it above the ankle, lift your arms up, close your hips somewhat. And then we'll use our arms. So take your hands here in front of you like you're holding a big ball in front of you. And then open up your chest, draw your shoulder blades back and together, and then round your spine a little bit. Use this with your breath. Inhale and exhale. Maybe leaning further back now if you've done this a few times. Further to the front. 2 last time through. The next time your hands are in front of you, let them reach down towards the floor again. Peel the back heel off the mat and step this front foot to meet the back foot. Down dog. Sway your hip a little bit from side to side. Your hip is moving up and back away from your hands. In this passage, I think it's David who wrote it, he writes about enemies. And probably you don't have any physical enemies as such, but maybe we all know the mental enemies. Enemies that say you're no good. That will never happen for you. You can't do that. You're not good enough. You're not pretty enough. Come down on your knees again. Let's release some of those maybe mental enemies or other things you are struggling with or battling with right now. So we'll do it this way. You take a huge inhale as you reverse this cat-cow. Inhale as you move your spine up. And then exhale as you kind of look to the front, do your cow. Open up your mouth and maybe out loud. Lion breath if you know what that is. So just do that a few times. Inhale. Your cat. Exhale. Release those enemies to God. Resentment, unforgiveness maybe, self-worth or self-pity, and continue if you want more and sink back into child's pose. Lift up again, downward facing dog, just for a breath or two. You're gonna do warrior one on the other side. So if you lift up your right leg and move that to the front, you will have warrior one on the opposite side, which means left foot a little bit out to the side, micro bend the back knee, the front foot completely aligned with the long end of the mat. Take your arms above your head here, relax your shoulders, move your hip a little bit to the front. And breathe deeply. And again, we'll move our arms to engage our shoulders, but in a little bit different way. So that you take your hands here down, palms facing like this. And like your fingers, hands back. Pinky finger towards your thigh. Lift your arms up again, and that's it. Of course, use your breath if you like. Exhale to draw your hands down. Inhale to take your arms up. And if you have energy that you need to release, maybe bitterness or sorrow, maybe you want to throw it down on the floor or at the feet of Jesus, the feet of the cross. Release it. One last time. Lean forward, take the heel off and step to the top of the mat yet again. If you feel this in your ankles, you can always let go a little bit, shake it out. High mountain. Fold your hands here behind you. Take a hold of the back of your head or your neck. Lean back, opening up your chest. Draw your elbows out to the side as you lean back. Engage your thighs. Your abs are a little bit active here as you lean back. Looking up, hoping, waiting for God. His light, His truth. Use your core as you stand into a regular mountain pose. Again, hands down by your side. Right leg yet again moves back, warrior two. Maybe heels are aligned, or the front heel aligned with the arch of the foot. Bend the front knee, arms reaches out, look to the front hand. Now, what does it mean that God is light? It means if you're afraid of darkness, God's light can come and show the way. And maybe when we feel like we're stumbling along, not really knowing where to go next or what is going to happen in the future, what to choose, let's pray for God's light. Triangle pose, stretch the front leg there. Move the hip back, still aligned with the heels as you lean forward. Now take your chest here and kind of lift a little bit up as you lean more to the front. If you want a little bit more, engage your root lock, your pelvic floor. Take this hand off the leg and lift it out to the side. Navel in, and remember to breathe. Okay, use your core, move up. Now turn this front foot, align it with the short end of the mat, and maybe even just a little bit in. Now you align your heels again, so just adjust your stance as you feel is great. Now take your right arm and move it down towards your thigh here and go for a side stretch in the other side. It might feel just as the same as triangle pose, just in another side. I think the truth, we all want the truth, but sometimes it's hard to hear the truth. I think we all know that. Lean up again and fold forward. Reach the floor. One truth I think is very clear in the Bible. It is you are not perfect. You are not perfect. And maybe you need to accept that truth. You will never be perfect. You are loved through God's grace. But perfect, that we will only be in heaven. So why striving for perfection and pleasing people? Always. Lift your head up and walk your hands and adjust your feet currently to the top end of the mat. Step your foot back, down dog. Either stay here or do the first vinyasa in this class. Inhale to plank. Lift through your shoulder blades. Exhale, lower down. Taking your time. Inhale, lift your chest, cobra, or maybe up dog. Your spine is warm enough for this. And then downward facing dog. Now, right leg lifts up again. We're gonna do warrior 2 on the other side and step it to the top end of the mat. Turn the back foot around, aligned with the short end of the mat. And lift up. Again, lots of length through the arms, even though you soften the elbows a little bit. What truth do you need to remind yourself of today? A positive truth. Stay with that thought as you extend the front leg, lean forward in the triangle pose. Again, don't go as low as you can. Go as low as you feel like is comfortable. Always have the option again of lifting the hand off the leg and do your 90-degree angle with your arms. Make sure you have a tight core here though. Moving up, wide stand on the mat. And then side stretch to the opposite side. Leaning towards your left side. Align your shoulders with your legs, as well as your hip with your legs. Moving up again. Hands down on the mat. Step your feet back. We're still at the top end of the mat where we normally are with our hands. Child's pose. We'll have a few stretches before I wrap up this class. As you have noticed, we have been working a lot with our core today. So we'll do what you in yoga language would call a peak pose. It's camel pose. So we'll be standing on our knees. If you for some reason have a bad back, lower back pain or weaknesses in there, don't go too low. Just take your hands, maybe your fingers reaches up. Open up your chest and just stay here. Let that be your camel pose. If you want to move further and you don't know what to do, just take a look. Make sure to stack your feet like I've done here. Lean back, maybe one hand to begin with can reach the heels, maybe the other. Hip and knee are somewhat aligned. You don't have to let go of your head, but maybe it feels good. Squeeze your buttocks as you move your hip a little bit more to the front to deepen your back bend. As you release, walk your hands behind your spine and come up straight. No twisting your way up again. Down into tabletop, toenails maybe on the ground, and then stretching the other way, cat pose. Pigeon pose will be the next stretch. If you have any knee issues, I'll show you what to do in just a second. But take your right leg and start there. Bend it, put the shin here on the ground. And I'll invite you to really extend your toes out like a ballerina. Hands here on top, and make sure you don't lean into the bended knee. And then move your back knee maybe a little bit further back to deepen the stretch. Now if you can align this shin with the short end of the mat, go ahead and do that. Even lower your hip further down. Some like to come all the way down and just lean over the knee, but just be cautious about your knee joint. Mindful about knee issues, come down on your back and do reversed pigeon pose. That's what I call it. Like this. In whatever pose you choose to stay in, breathe. And the last part of this psalm says, wait for God. And maybe you need to hear that today. Wait. Some translations says hope for. It's the same root of the Hebrew word there. Just wait for God to come through. Tuck your toe under. Come up on your arm, make sure, or your hands, make sure you don't lean on the bended knee. Lift up and step it back. If you're on your back, you just do the other side, okay? Because we're just gonna do this now. So left leg, move it to the front. Again, point the toe to get some more movement into this knee joint, so you will not as prone to injure if you try to relax a little bit here. Stay on your hands, elbows, roll all the way down. You might feel this deep in your hip. Roll out on the side if you are pigeon pose like I was. Feet to the front of the mat. And come down on your back. Walk your feet somewhat away from your hip. And then move your legs out to the side. Just one side, and let them rest there for a while. Relax your shoulders and arms. Maybe you close your eyes. Roll your knees onto the other side. This is a gentle spinal twist, or maybe it's not so gentle. But it's supposed to be somewhat gentle, so don't overdo the length or the depth of the knees here. Before we move to resting pose, I want to tell you that I'll read the passage or the verse one more time through, making those breaks. And I'll invite you to make it a prayer. As I read it, maybe you say, God, help me with this, or I give this to you, or thank you for whatever. So that's what I'll invite you to do. After that, I'll finish up our videos, and just to have said it, I really hope that you'll help me share God's love out through this channel by subscribing and all of these things that you know. It's so helpful, and I really long for more people to find God's healing love. So thank you for your support, for taking the time to do that. So come down in resting pose, feet out to the side, palms facing up, but hands on the mat, on the floor beside you. Try to create length through your spine to the back end of your head. Maybe on a large exhale, you take your shoulders down towards the mat and then let go. Defend me, God. Argue my case against those people who do not know you. Protect me from those evil liars. God, you are my place of safety. Why have you turned me away? Why must I suffer the sadness that my enemies have brought me? Send your light and your truth to guide me. To lead me to your holy mountain, to your home. I want to go to God's altar, to the God who makes me so very happy. God, my God, I want to play my harp and sing praises to you. Why am I so sad? Why am I so upset? I tell myself, wait for God's help. You will again have a chance to praise Him, your God, the one who will save you. Amen. From my heart to your heart, thank you for your support, and God bless you.